Hey, what is going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be showing you 5 things that are going to be taking you from being this guy to being this guy. This is the guy you want to be right here. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so after many requests, I'm going to be focusing on the beginner 0 to 5 and a little bit beyond pull-up range. So that's what this video is for, and we're going to get right into it. So before we even touch the bar, thing number 1 is going to be grip strength. I have trained thousands of Marines, thousands of civilians on how to do more pull-ups, all the way from 0 to like 45, 50 pull-ups in one set. The number 1 thing, especially for females, so listen up, the number 1 thing that is lacking right off the bat is normally grip strength. So I'm going to show you a couple of exercises, things you can do to train your grip strength, but I want you to focus on that first. And the last one's going to involve the bar, but the first 2 are not. So yeah, I'm going to show you those exercises really quick. All right, so the first grip strength exercise, we're going to keep it really simple, is going to be farmer's walks. You're going to grab 2 heavy objects, squeeze them tight with your hands, and walk back and forth. That's all there is to it. You can go till failure, until you drop them, they slip out of your hands, or you put them down, but make sure you're straining as much as you can, holding on to these as long as you can. The reason that farmer's walks are so good is because as I'm walking, it's better than just standing here like this. As I'm walking, the weight is shifting, and I'm using my whole core and my body to stabilize as I'm walking back and forth. And so that little shift in weight from one leg to the other is actually making you over grip on one side, and it's kind of like a rest, relax phase, and you just try to keep those as stable as possible. So yeah, the first exercise to strengthen your grip strength is farmer's walks. You just walk with heavy weights until failure. All right, so the next exercise I want you to do is called a pinch plate hold. I have 2 25-pound plates here, and all I'm doing is pinching them as hard as I can and standing stationary. You can turn this into a farmer's walk and walk back and forth, but since it's a harder style of grip and you don't want them like flopping around because you're pinching very hard with your thumb, that's what we're really trying to incorporate here, your thumb. And it's just more of a crushing pinch strength, and it's helping work out all those flexors in your forearms. So yeah, this is a pinch plate hold. You're just squeezing these plates as hard as you can for as long as you can. All right, and the last exercise we will be doing for grip strength is going to be dead hangs. So for this, we will be using the pull-up bar. All you're gonna be doing is grabbing onto the pull-up bar, just like you're about to do a pull-up. Let your body hang, and this is a inactive dead hang. So my body is completely open. I'm not flexed into it. You can flex into it a little bit if you want, but a completely open dead hang. That way we're resting all of our strength in our hands. You can put thumb underneath the bar, thumb over the bar, whatever you want to do for the dead hang, where you're hanging here until failure. Keep your body as rigid as possible. You can bend your knees if you're too tall and you're going to touch the ground. I don't recommend crossing your legs, but hang here as long as you can. And that is a dead hang. That is the last exercise for grip strength. All right, so just like I said in the beginning, we're going to start working our way back down our arm. The next spot we're going to focus on is elbow flexion. This curling motion, what pulls our body inwards or upwards on the pull-up bar. All right, so it does help to know how the anatomy of elbow flexion is happening, which is this right here. Obviously you can see my bicep is one of the muscles that's helping that happen, but there's 2 other muscles that I want to focus on as well, and that's going to be your brachialis and your brachioradialis. Those are 2 muscles that are really dominant when it comes to that pulling motion and getting the pull-up down. All right, so the first exercise I'm going to show you is the bicep curl, just a standard barbell curl. And so I have an empty barbell here, about 45 pounds, and I'm just trying to isolate that bicep as much as possible. And one thing I'm trying to do is keep my hands rotated inwards, almost like I'm doing a chin-up. That way I'm focusing more on my bicep than my brachioradialis and my radialis, like I discussed earlier. We're just trying to focus on the bicep here. Nice clean reps, no swaying, and that helps fire those biceps up. All right, so this next exercise is going to be helping you target the brachialis and the brachioradialis a little bit better. It also incorporates your grip strength like we did in step 1 as well. It's one of my favorite exercises, and I do these all the time. It's going to be a plate pull. So I have a 25-pound plate, and all I'm going to be doing is getting a nice solid stance here, flexing my back, make sure I'm pulling in, and right now, right here in this elbow socket, You feel all the way down your brachioradialis and the internal workings of your brachialis as well, and that isolates that pulling muscle very well. You can feel them way more than you can feel your bicep working in this position. So it works really nicely, plus you get a nice grip strength workout as well. All right, so number 3 is going to be isometric contractions. An isometric contraction is when your muscle is contracted and under resistance, but not lengthening or shortening. So if I flex my arm in this position and I push down on my palm here, my bicep and my other forearm muscles are all preventing that resistance from pushing my arm downwards. I'm holding in place, I'm not lengthening or shortening. That is an isometric contraction. They work wonders for spot checking your weaknesses, training areas that are kind of hard to reach when doing full range of motion, and they're just great for pull-up strength. All right, so the way you work isometric contractions on the pull-up bar is you get yourself an object that you can stand on, that when you stand on it and grab the pull-up bar, your arms are slightly bent, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold that position and step off the object and stop yourself from descending. So you're gonna hold yourself in that position as long as you can. The reason isometric contractions are so good for pull-ups is it allows us to train our weak areas and really focus on those areas and strengthen them. For example, on average, everybody struggles from 90 degrees and above, so that mid-range pull-up and then getting your chin above the bar. What an isometric contraction allows you to do is it allows you to train that area specifically without fatiguing by doing full range of motion. Or it allows you to train your weak areas even if you can't do a pull-up, because normally people can hold themselves in a certain position or above the bar, but they can't do a full pull-up yet. So it allows you to take certain weaknesses out of the pull-up and then eventually put it all together and do a pull-up. So a couple of examples of those is when I'm on the bar, I'm gonna hold at 90 degrees, and I'm gonna hold in the middle between all the way up at 90 degrees, and I'm gonna hold all the way up. An isometric contraction has been shown to strengthen 5 degrees above the position you're in and 5 degrees below the position you're in. So you do get a little bit of range of motion from training the isometric contraction, but it's really for spot checking, but it's extremely good for developing your weak areas. All right, so number 4 is going to be negatives. And if you don't know what a negative is, it's where you step on an object that allows you to get your chin above the bar, taking up all the weight. So chin above the bar, and then you step off that object and lower down as consistently and slowly as possible. And before you touch the ground, you can hop back up on the object. All you're trying to do is take out the concentric phase or the pull-up portion and work on the eccentric phase, which is the lowering down. A lot of people are stronger in the eccentric phase of anything. So involving in a pull-up is you're able to do the eccentric phase more than you're able to do the concentric phase. So even if you can't do a pull-up yet, this is a great way to train the full dynamic range of a pull-up without having to pull yourself up, because you're still working the same muscle groups, the same stabilizers, and it's such a great workout, lowering yourself down at a consistent rate, even if you can't do a single pull-up. So negatives is number 4. Again, it's just stepping off an object, getting your chin above the bar, and then lowering down as consistent as possible. I do about a 7-second count every time. Alrighty, and lastly, number 5 is going to be developing the neurological and the confidence building portion, which is just getting your body comfortable with the pulling up portion or the concentric portion of the pull-up, and just getting used to what it feels like to pull your body weight up to the point where your chin is above the bar. And what we're going to be doing for that is, obviously if you can't do a pull-up yet, you'll need some sort of assistance, and what we can do is, these are really cheap. They're dense resistance bands to take off a lot of your weight, and they just make you able to pull your body weight up so you know how it feels. And all we're going to do is hang this over the bar, and I like to put one foot through it, so we'll hang it over the bar. Kind of need a little bit of agility to get up here, but yeah, 1 foot through there, and you're going to put all of your body weight on that 1 foot. You can kind of cross your legs here. It's the only time I'll allow you to cross your legs when doing pull-ups. And then you're gonna pull up, get your chin above the bar, back down, just like you're doing pull-ups. And what that's gonna do, as long as you keep it slow and controlled and you don't use the acceleration of the rubber band to get you over the bar, you just kind of ride the resistance up. As long as you do that, you'll actually get a nice muscle workout as well. But mainly what we're trying to do here is make your body comfortable with the pulling up portion. And that way, you know how it feels to do a pull-up, and as you train your grip strength and those isometric contractions and everything else we talked about, it'll allow you to put it all together and do a pull-up. That way, you know what it feels like and you develop the strength, and hopefully you're doing pull-ups by the end of this video. Alrighty, just to summarize all we've been through real quick, we got number 1, focus on your grip strength, do those exercises. Number 2, focus on that elbow flexion and breaking those 3 muscles into separate groups and training those individually as best you can. Number 3, work on those isometric contractions, focus on your weak spots. Number 4, do those negatives, go till failure, try to keep it as consistent as possible, maybe even pause at the top before you lower down. And then lastly, make sure you're building that confidence, even doing jumping pull-ups and getting up at the top. That way you know how it feels to pull your body up if you don't have a band. And that pretty much does it. Put this all together in a nice little package and do the best you can to go till failure, and you'll be doing pull-ups in no time, I promise you. These are the best tips I could come up with to teach you all how to do from 0 to 5 pull-ups, and I hope you all like this video. I'm Staff Sergeant Eckert. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe, but until then, I'll see you at the next video.